came late that afternoon, just as I pulled into the driveway of our new house. Is this Daniel Brooks? The voice asked. It was older, raspy. Yes. Who's this? There was a brief pause. I'm the previous owner. I'm sorry to bother you, but I forgot something. Something serious. I almost hung up. Then he said it. There's a camera hidden in the living room ceiling. I forgot to disconnect it from the cloud before the sale. It's been recording. I went completely still. He continued, his voice shaking. I only noticed today when I opened the old feed by accident. I didn't mean to see anything, but what I saw, I think you need to know. My chest tightened. What did you see? Silence. Then he said quietly, don't ask over the phone. And don't tell your wife. Come alone. I'll show you everything. I sat in the car for what felt like forever, just staring at the house. Claire had decorated the porch with lights. Inside, I could hear her laughing with her mother and sister as they unpacked more boxes. I walked in. Claire smiled at me from the kitchen. Hey, babe, everything okay? I nodded. Yeah, I'm just going to grab a few things from the store. I kissed her cheek, my heart pounding. As I pulled away from the house, something felt wrong, like this call had torn a thin veil off a life I thought I understood. And whatever that man had seen, it wasn't a glitch. It was a warning. He lived 20 minutes away, in a faded bungalow tucked behind a gas station. When he opened the door, his hands were trembling. I didn't mean to get involved, he said, ushering me inside. But I lived in that house for 30 years. It deserved better than what I saw. He led me to a cluttered desk and opened his laptop. I backed up the footage. I'm not keeping it. I just thought you had a right to see. He clicked play. The screen showed the living room, my living room. The date stamp read Tuesday. I'd been at work until 7 p.m. that day. Claire walked in. Her mother followed. Then her sister, Jenna. They opened a bottle of wine and started laughing. Claire dropped onto the couch. I can't believe he fell for it. Her mom chuckled. All that nonsense about starting fresh, like it's his house. You did the hard part, sweetie, her mother added. Now we just make sure he stays busy at work while we finalize the switch. The switch, I whispered. The video kept rolling. Claire pulled out a folder. Power of attorney papers, she said with a smirk. You said he'd never notice. You were right, Mom. I stared at the screen, frozen. The man beside me lowered the volume. There's more, he said gently. But you get the idea. I couldn't speak. Power of attorney. They weren't just laughing behind my back. They were dismantling my life while smiling in my face. I stood slowly. Send me the whole file, I said. Every second. Because in that moment, something shifted. I had a plan. And I wasn't going to be the fool again. By the time I got home that night, everything looked normal. Claire kissed my cheek and asked if I grabbed milk. Jenna was organizing the garage. Her mother was baking something for the neighbors. It all looked so real, like I was the one pretending. I watched them carefully. Every movement, every laugh, every sweet word now felt poisoned. I smiled. I nodded. I played along. Because what they didn't know was that I had the video. I had the proof. And I wasn't going to confront them. Not yet. I needed more. Over the next few days, I played dumb. I pretended to be tired, distracted by work. Meanwhile, I planted microphones in the kitchen, the hallway, even under the dining table. I wired a backup feed into the router and upgraded the cloud storage without telling anyone. They were too confident to notice. And that's when the real conversations began. Jenna, you're sure he won't contest it? He's pathetic, Claire replied. We wait 3 more weeks. Once the funds move, he's useless. Her mother added calmly, then we cut him off clean. Tell him we need space and sell the house. My house. That night, I sat in the garage staring at the glowing laptop screen, my fists clenched. My mouth was dry. My heart felt like ice. They weren't just planning betrayal, they had scheduled it. And I was funding the entire thing. So I opened a blank spreadsheet. Step 1. Hire a private lawyer. Step 2. Quietly pull every asset back under my name. Step 3. Give them the performance of a lifetime. The lawyer I hired worked in a quiet building on the edge of town. His name was Harold Maddox, a seasoned estate attorney. No flashy suits, no small talk, just sharp eyes and airtight documentation. I didn't tell him everything, not yet. Just enough to get started. I'd like to quietly revoke the power of attorney I signed 3 months ago, I said. He frowned slightly. You understand that revoking it without notice could raise suspicion. I'm counting on that, I replied. We filed the paperwork that same day. He advised me to make copies, secure them with financial backups, and begin protecting all personal assets, bank accounts, brokerage accounts, and most importantly, the deed to the house. They thought I was blind. But by Friday, every major asset had been redirected. All I left behind were empty shells, the ones they were circling like vultures. Then came the bait. That weekend, I walked into the living room with a wide smile. Guess what, Claire, I just got a raise. A big one. Her eyes lit up. Jenna clapped. Her mom said, knew you had it in you. I leaned into the act. Fancy dinners, a new suit, even a thank you bracelet for Claire. They thought their plan had time. They thought they would win. What they didn't know was that I already owned the stage, and they were just reading lines in a play I was directing. I just needed the final act. 2 days before their planned switch, I overheard Claire in the backyard. It's happening next week, she whispered into the phone. He's completely in the dark. I've got the forged signature ready. His name will be off the deed before he blinks. I stood inside, sipping my coffee, watching her through the window like she was rehearsing for a role. Our entire life together, a con. And she was proud of it. That night, I emailed Harold everything. The recordings, the cloud videos, the updated paperwork, and even the forged signature she'd been practicing. Prepare the final package, I wrote. Emergency legal motion. I want everything ready by Tuesday. His reply came quickly. One line. It'll be beautiful. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I invited them all to dinner. Celebration, I said. The bonus came through. They believed it. Hook, line, and greed. I grilled steaks, bought wine, even wore the bracelet Claire had given me 6 months earlier. They laughed. They toasted. And I smiled right until Jenna clinked her glass and said, to Claire, the future real owner of this home. They all laughed. I stood, raised my glass, and said calmly, let's toast again next Tuesday. I'll have something special for you then. They cheered. They had no idea. Tuesday arrived. I wore a plain gray shirt. No watch. No cologne. Just calm. Claire came downstairs in a red dress. Jenna poured mimosas. Her mom bragged on the phone about this being their last week, in someone else's house. They thought it was victory. At exactly 9 a.m., the doorbell rang. Claire looked confused. I opened the door. Harold stepped inside with a thick manila folder. Behind him stood a court officer. Daniel, Harold said quietly. Ready. I nodded and turned to them. Ladies, take a seat. You're going to want to hear this. Claire scoffed. What is this about? The court officer unfolded a document. Claire Whitman, you are being served a cease and desist related to attempted property fraud and signature forgery. Jenna shot to her feet. What the hell is this? Harold's voice was calm. Mr. Brooks has also filed for an immediate asset freeze on all joint accounts pending a fraud investigation. Her mother shouted, you can't do this. I leaned forward. Oh, but I did. While you were planning to cut me out, I took back everything. You own nothing. The house, mine. The accounts, mine. The bracelet on your wrist. I looked at Claire. Bought with my card. I'll be taking that back too. Claire stood frozen. I slid a USB stick across the table. This contains all your recorded conversations. Copies are already with my attorney, and the cloud backup is secured. Any retaliation, it goes public. The room fell silent. Claire's face drained of color as the officer completed the paperwork. Jenna grabbed the USB stick like she could somehow erase what was already locked in the cloud. You're insane, Claire whispered. No, I said evenly. I was naive. There's a difference. And now I see everything. Pack your things, I said calmly. You have until sunset. But this is our home, her mother protested. No, I replied. It's mine. The mortgage, the title, the utilities, everything is solely in my name again. You gambled everything on a fake signature. And you lost. Jenna's voice cracked. We were just trying to help Claire. She deserves more. More than what? I asked. A partnership. A life together. I shook my head. She didn't want partnership. She wanted control. I gave you love, trust, respect, and you turned my life into a game. Claire tried one last time. Please, Daniel, let's talk. Not in front of them. I laughed softly. You involved them. Then I nodded toward the officer. Escort them out if they're not gone by 6. I walked upstairs. For once, silence followed me. Downstairs, I heard drawers opening, bags zipping, broken voices muttering. By sunset, their suitcases were lined along the curb. Claire was the last to step outside, mascara running, still trying to understand how everything slipped through her fingers. But I wasn't watching from the window. I was already downtown, in a glass high-rise boardroom, handing the final file to a partner at Wilkins & Rowe, the prestigious firm Claire had always dreamed of joining. "Are you sure you want this to move forward?" he asked. I nodded. She forged legal documents. She attempted fraud. There's evidence. He exhaled slowly. Then she'll never practice law again. I met his eyes. That's the point. By midnight, her license had been reported. Internship offers vanished. Her name was flagged. Her LinkedIn was already buzzing with questions. I sent one final message from a burner email. "You built your life by lying to mine. Now build it again from nothing." Then I deleted the address. Back home, I sat alone on the porch with a glass of bourbon. The night air was cold against my skin. But inside, I felt clear. Clean. They thought they were smarter. They thought I would stay quiet. They thought love meant I'd never fight back. But I didn't just fight back. I won. And the best part, they never saw it coming.